not bothering you, are we? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, welcome everyone to the Lancaster City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Molly.
Present.
Mann.
I am present.
Underwood Jacobs.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris. We have a quorum.
Move to excuse Mayor Paris.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Raj, would you do the pledge for us, please?
Please put your right hand over your heart. Join me for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.
Yep.
Mark, will you join me up here? Michelle, will you join us? I think tonight, as part of the city's 40th anniversary celebration, we're doing a community contributor program. And Michelle's part of that, and we're going to watch a video so we can all understand what she does better. Thank you. Caught Luke off guard.
We've had so many great successes here in the building now. We've had clients really succeed and go from the verge of homelessness into, housing and being able to take care of their children.
Tell me about the grant that started ABPH and what transpired from that point.
So it was a public-private partnership grant. It was to start grassroots community group organizations to identify gaps in health and social services in communities. So we applied for it with Partners in Care Foundation, and we were awarded it, and that's what started Antelope Valley Partners for Health in 1999. We did community groups, community needs assessments and things like that at the beginning, and identified services that we needed here in the community. The community center here now is about 30,000 square feet, and we have close to 100 employees.
Michelle Fluke has been an amazing leader. She loves the Antelope Valley community, and she's definitely someone I aspire to be.
How does she get along with the community?
Oh, great. Everyone loves her. She loves collaborating with other agencies, so it's been really awesome to be able to work side by side with so many different nonprofit organizations, Kaiser, the hospital, so all of us can really team together to get the work done.
We manage the wellness homes in 7 different at-risk communities. We work with the neighborhood impact homes that are managed usually by a faith-based organization, and then some of our homes even have the neighborhood community gardens as well. We have the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council now, and we meet and have developed programs in the Lancaster School District, some of the schools, working with kindergartners on physical activity. We brought it right into the schools, and some after-school programs that they go to the wellness homes and do community garden and nutrition classes.
What are you most proud of over the last 20 years?
I'm proud of how we're able to bring programming to the community. I'm very proud of how this community works together in collaboration.
If you could describe Michelle Fluke in 1 or 2 words.
I think she is inspirational.
Passionate. She's very passionate about her job, helping people in the community, helping everybody.
Vice Mayor was gracious enough to let me say a couple words. I've known Michelle for a long time. I know Elizabeth Brubaker has known her longer. Together, Elizabeth and Michelle make a great team. But the thing about Michelle that you don't know is how much she cares about the Antelope Valley and how little she cares about other people knowing what she does or giving her credit. You can tell right now she's quite embarrassed for being up here. This is one of the most impactful, one of the most important people in the Antelope Valley for what she does and the contribution she makes, and the thousands of people are healthier and have better lifestyles before her. Everyone talks about doing things. You go to her AV Partners for Health, there's 100 employees. It is one of the most organized offices I've ever seen. Everyone is pulling in the same direction. She runs a very tight ship, and she has a very motivated staff, and I can't think of anyone better to honor as a community contributor than Michelle.
So on behalf of the city and the mayor, we would like to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is getting heavy. Maybe you can grab it for me, Mark.
Oh my
Go ahead.
gosh.
Good. I don't know. It's really
Are they
heavy.
gonna check this in my bag when I leave? Oh my goodness.
Is that? You have to hold it again?
Mark, join us.
Thank you. And nothing is complete without the big check presentation. This is to Michelle's favorite charity, which should be no surprise to anyone. She wants to keep it. Should I say it? You want me to hold that for you while you're
If you'd like to, it's super heavy. I just want to thank the City of Lancaster. They're a really great partner of ours, and we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the work that we're doing without them, and to my staff, because I wouldn't be here without them. They're very hardworking and dedicated, as much or more than I am. So I appreciate everybody's hard work and trying to make this a healthy community so we can thrive. So thank you.
Were we supposed to recognize a candy store?
Didn't ask about items. You didn't ask about items to be removed, so.
Any items to be removed?
Other than that presentation, no, sir.
Okay. The CCEA, the consent calendar. Need a motion?
I'll move. Can we take these three concurrently?
We're going to do it as a consent calendar, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we can then. So I'll make the motion to approve CCEA CC1.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'll second.
He's ready to.
I wasn't
complain.
paying attention.
I know.
Yeah, I'm doing a Marvin.
Let's vote. Motion passes with 4 yes votes. Council minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the council minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. The consent calendar,
Vice Mayor, I would like to remove CC4. I need to recuse myself as I own property in the immediate area of the item. So let me take the...
yeah, we'll do the, I need a motion to accept the consent calendar as currently comprised, pulling CC4
I'll make that
and
motion.
CC6.
I'll make that motion.
I second that.
Let's vote. Passes with 4 yes votes.
Let me step out.
Mr. Mann will remove himself. I need a motion and a second for CC4.
A motion for CC4?
Second that.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes, with Ken Mann recusing himself. CC6. Wait a minute, we need to have a speaker card in. Sorry. Fran.
That's good. Good evening, Vice Mayor Chris, council members, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I'm getting nervous. I talked too much today. My name is Fran Saris, and I'm your senior advocate. I just have a question, and I think it might fall into this category on Public Works. I just wanted to ask if there could be signage on 10th Street West and Avenue and stating about that the freeway entrance is there, because every time when I go by there, I have to remember that it's either M or N that the freeway is on. I know there's one on M, but that's very visible, but the one on N is not that visible. And I was just wondering, is it too much to ask to put some kind of a sign on this stating where the freeway entrance is?
We can certainly try, but that's not our jurisdiction. We'll talk to Caltrans in regards to it. We have a meeting with them, I think, next Monday, so we'll ask them.
Okay, when's the meeting going to be? Is it
When? I
open
think
to the
it's
public?
9 o'clock in Palmdale next Monday.
And is it open to the public?
Yes.
9 o'clock Monday. Okay. I wasn't sure, that's why I brought it. I used that
Okay.
section to bring it up.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you.
I need a motion second for CC6.
I'll make the motion for CC6.
Second that.
We have a motion second. Let's vote. 4 yes votes, passes. New business, NB1. Mark, are you doing this?
I think you woke him up.
Were you sleeping?
I was perfecting the Nautilus nap. Vice Mayor, Council, before you tonight is the next step in a process. A few months ago, you unanimously approved a zero net energy home ordinance, which we believe is a model. There's 3 options. Mr. Vos and the Planning Commission and others met with the BIA to get the options together to try to make it sensitive to the developers, plus also our homeowners who would save money. Before you, the action would be a third-party report, which Patty will explain, to forward to the California Energy Commission, who would make the final determination of the cost effectiveness and cost benefit of the ordinance. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Patty Garibay.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. As Mark mentioned earlier this year, Ordinance 1020 was approved by Council, which required that all new homes built in Lancaster are built to zero net energy standards. That's 3 years earlier than the state's mandate, which is anticipated to go into effect in 2020, requiring that all new homes in California are Z&E. At that time, Council approved 3 options for home builders to meet that requirement. The first option was installing 2 watts of solar per square foot of the home being built. The second option was paying a mitigation fee equal to $1.40 per square foot of home. And the third option is a hybrid of the first 2 options, and that's the installation of a 2 kilowatt solar system in addition to paying a mitigation fee to basically cover the entire cost of a solar system. As Mark mentioned, the California Energy Commission does require the submittal of a cost-effectiveness analysis for any local ordinance that exceeds their existing CEC energy code, in addition to submitting an approved city ordinance. For council approval tonight is the Z&E cost-effectiveness analysis, and we are also requesting council's approval to submit all documentation to the CEC for the state's approval. The Z&E cost effectiveness analysis was developed by Energy Solutions, a very well-known, respected energy company. They actually work on developing clean energy policies, programs, and projects throughout the state. Energy Solutions, through their third-party analysis, determined that all three options are cost-effective, which is great. A benefit-to-cost ratio greater than 1 is viewed as cost-effective, and all of the three Z&E options on a 2,500 and 3,000 square foot prototype home, which they used in their analysis, or reviewed through their analysis, had a cost ratio greater than 1.74, which is great. I did want to point out that although not included in the analysis that we submitted, there were a few additional things that benefit the home builder. Number one, the Z&E ordinance that council approved does waive the existing landscape and irrigation requirements in the Lancaster Municipal Code. That will provide home builders with a savings of $6,000 per home. And that's actually a number that they provided us through the conversations that we had throughout this process. In addition to that, the home builders are eligible for a federal tax credit equal to 30% of the cost of the solar system. So they will see a great deal of savings through this project. Homeowners can also expect to see substantial energy long-term benefits in their energy savings, and that is not dependent on which of these three options is selected. They'll save money no matter what. CEC staff anticipates that the review and approval process will take up to 4 months, and that means that Ordinance 1020 would go into effect at the latest by November of 2017. I'd be happy to answer any questions related to the Z&E ordinance or the cost effectiveness analysis. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Just for the record, we did receive a letter from the Chief Executive Officer of the BIA explaining to us that they don't like it. So just so everybody knows, we're perfecting what the state is trying to accomplish in another 2 years, and we're showing them there's better ways to do it. So we'll be able to, actually, the homes that are being built won't have to have solar on them. They can be put into a solar field, and that, through our CCA, can be directed to that home. So I think it's a much better way to do it. Talking with the builders on an individual basis, they all really appreciate the opportunity to do that. So,
yeah, I'm a little taken back by the letter, especially after I know we're only a couple of years away from a mandate. So here we are as a city trying to be progressive. And then on the other hand, we're trying to give the builders a benefit. So I'll be real interested to see in 2 years, I think it's when the state mandate comes down, be very interesting to see what other communities do to supplement and help builders as well. Because here we are trying to find some middle ground with them, encourage them to do it early, although it's an ordinance, but giving them an incentive. Like I said, I'll be very interesting to see what our counterparts do anywhere in the state of California, to see if they're willing to let the builders have the change in regards to the lax ordinance and giving them the money back. So, because indirectly, that's what we're doing. We're just telling them, hey, look, you don't have to do that. So I just want to make sure the public is aware of that, and hopefully these guys consider this, because it'll be interesting to see what happens here in a couple of years.
Mr. Vos, do you have anything?
No, I would concur with the report that was given and encourage the City Council to approve the recommendation. Certainly, we've spent a lot of time with the Building Industry Association, and I hear your concerns, particularly the day of the proposed action receiving the letter.
Right. Thank you. Okay, need a motion and a second for NB1.
I move that we adopt or approve NB1.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes with 4 yes votes. NB2, Mr. Dorico.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Vice Mayor Christ, City Council members, and City Commission members. We're going to give you an update this evening on our Antelope Valley Education Alliance program, show some statistics. And this is in process of all the development we've been discussing as a city as it as it relates to restorative justice. So we're going to work in that model of restorative justice, meaning that we're going to look at alternatives to just arresting people and putting them in jail, but really getting down to the grassroots of what's creating issues that relate to crime and other negative behavior within the community. So this is a program that came about 4 years ago. We began discussions with Dr. Vieira at Antelope Valley Union High School District and the school administration at Antelope Valley High School to develop a test program as it related to an anti-truancy model for the school. And at the time, the school was having lots of issues with a high percentage of students who were not attending class. And as we spoke at Criminal Justice, schools are funded based on classroom attendance. So based by period attendance through the average daily attendance system. So irregardless of what the schools do as far as staffing based on enrollment, if students aren't in school, then there's a negative funding issue as it relates to each period attendance. Also, on the other side of it is that there's determined that we have determined as a community and through law enforcement that there's a direct correlation between truancy and daytime crime rates in areas. And so as you'll see through this presentation, that has had a significant effect in the draw area for that particular school. So I'd like to, at this time, I'm going to introduce folks that are involved in this program. This is my son, Ryan Dorico. He's an assistant principal at Antelope Valley High School. I know it's impossible to believe that I actually have a son that's that old, but okay. Yes, Mark will weigh in on this, right? He doesn't believe they're my children, so.
Should we ask him if your special chair is still up at the principal's office?
Yes, I was in that chair a lot.
Yes.
Councilman, thank you. I think you were probably there a few times yourself, sir. That's what I heard, so. This is John Keith, one program coordinator, and Nigel Hawley. I'm going to bring Ryan up to kind of give the basics on from the school side of things. We'll go through the program, and then I'll follow up at the end with our parts of this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, City Council, appreciate the time to speak with you guys. Let John go ahead and jump in on the slides. And as an educator myself, you're going to have agendized items as what we're going to cover throughout our presentation. Our need, our mission and vision, solution, our impact, some of our program highlights, statistical evidence that supports how the program is working, testimonials, and then at the end we'll open it up for some questions. So our need from a school standpoint, there's been a statewide initiative over the past 5 years for what is called positive behavior intervention supports. A better way of thinking about this is a proactive intervention system to reach to kids that are either A, struggling, or to get them before they become a struggling student in the eyes of education code. One of our issues, as my father just let you guys know on, is how do we curb the absenteeism rate and truancy and tardiness to classes. That was a big issue when this came about 4 years ago and the discussion started. Another side of it is how do we increase equity and access for our students within the community and within campus. That's another side of the positive behavior and intervention, or what is called PBIS, for our students. And then at the end is how do we provide additional support for our teachers within the classroom setting to reach to these kids and to keep them in class, but then also to keep them engaged within the classroom itself. So what came about is AVEA, Antelope Valley Education Alliance, and I'm going to hand it over to Nigel Hawley, and he'll take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council, Commissioners. So 4 years ago, we discovered that there was a trend of truancy, and it wasn't just Antelope Valley, it was the state as a whole. So we got our heads together and started to work on what we can do to change it. Our mission is to create a paradigm shift in the mindsets of our youth by providing additional educational services, intervention programs, teamwork training, mentoring, leadership development, which empowers the participants and the community to thrive as a whole. Our vision is simple, to provide a holistic transformation by fostering positive education and community-based development. In short, what that basically means is it takes a community or a village to raise a child. And so we're taking that it takes a village to raise a child approach in changing the lives of these children. The first part of our solution is partnership. We wanted to make sure that we had all of our stakeholders involved. So that was a partnership with the City of Lancaster, the Sheriff's Department, Antelope Valley High School District, and Los Angeles Superior Court. The second part of our solution was how do we help the youth create lifelong change? And we discovered that youth responds to discipline, but more they respond to structure. So we created systems of being rewards and offering rewards and consequences, provide supportive environment, provide opportunities for making choices, self-discovery, and accountability. We moved on to once we started to understand how we wanted to approach the problem, and we started to create partnerships on campus with school security, school teachers, school administration, and it's amazing how many people want to buy in when they see something that actually is going to impact the children, to start to actually make that paradigm shift. That paradigm shift we'll talk about a little bit further in the presentation. We wanted the kids to have full enrollment. We wanted to put the kids on some type of monitoring status, and we also do check-ins. The monitoring status basically is the students coming in and meeting with myself and the other coordinator, John Keith, on a daily basis. So not only do they go to school, they get to class, but sometime during the day they come in and they meet with one of the coordinators on campus to talk with them, make sure that they have everything they need, they have their supplies, they may need pencils, paper, sometimes they just need an alarm clock. And so we're on campus to help them to be successful. We also have an after-school program component, which we do an hour of tutoring and an hour of life coaching. We'll talk about that a little bit more in detail. So what we're starting to see is we see great improvements. We've taken the children on trips. A couple of the trips we've taken them on would be, we took them for a few days up to UC Santa Cruz, where the students actually had an opportunity to stay in the dorms, kind of experience the college life. We've taken them down to Pepperdine University, where they had an opportunity to stay in the dorms, experience the college life. We've taken them to the Museum of Tolerance, where they start to, learn about hate and hate crimes and the things that they can do even in their young age to prevent those actions and behaviors. We give them lots of mentoring and lots of tutoring. How we create the paradigm shift is we have something we refer to as the 4 E's of life coaching. Now, the 4 E's of life coaching is a scalable model. It's able to be implemented on a classroom basis with 30 or so students, but we also have it shrunken down to an individual basis. And that allows us to create curricula that actually affects that particular student individually, as well as the students as a whole. We start them off by getting them to start to understand where they are right now. Sometimes they don't understand that, good. If you were to tell on someone that it's a good thing, because now you're starting to weed out some of the issues that we have on campus. Well, the mentality oftentimes is, well, if I tell, then I'm going to be labeled a snitch, and so technically it's bad in their perspective. So we get them to start to understand where they are. We get them to start to understand some of the changes that need to take place right there where they are. It could be a situation to where they're missing numerous days of school, where they're acting out, where they're fighting, where they're getting into conflicts with teachers. We just get them to accept where they are. And once we get them to the point where they accept where they actually are, then we can actually start the process. Then we help them start by helping them create and build a compelling vision for their future. A lot of students' future, our compelling vision has to go one day at a time. Okay, we're not going to talk about graduation today with this particular student, but we're going to talk about that student being here on time tomorrow. And then we do it again, be here on time the next day. And then from those small successes, we can start that student on the path of creating bigger successes and actually having long-term goals, such as graduation, college, military, etc. Once we get them to have a different idea of where they want to go in life, then we start to teach them how to execute, the steps that it actually takes for them to be able to get to where they want to be. And then we follow that up with teaching them how to self-evaluate. What do I need to do to know if I'm on track on a regular basis when I no longer have a Mr. Nigel or a Mr. Keith here ushering me on? The impact on the campus has been vast. And I'm going to call up John Keith here in a second to go over some of the successes and statistics that align with that. However, we've had an increase in Saturday school attendance from the students that we've been working with and throughout the campus. We've had attendance retrieval, credit retrieval, meaning that the students' grades are going up. We have the students participating in extracurricular activities. We've had student buy-in and staff buy-in throughout the campus. We've implemented more tardy sweeps so that now the campus is clear during the day. We don't have as many kids just roaming the halls. We've given the students access to technology services as well as a safe haven for lunch and things of that nature, and after school somewhere where the kids can go. If you notice on the screen here, you'll see some of the events that we've done. At the top, you'll see us doing one of our after-school sessions where we're working with the kids, tutoring and giving some mentoring. To the left of that, to the right of that, is actually at the Museum of Tolerance, where the students participated in the Shades program and started to learn about hate crimes and what they can do as individuals to change that. If we drop down to the middle, you'll see the kids putting on a play that we did at Justice Sunday just a few months back. And you'll see the kids being awarded right here by you guys as far as some of the accomplishments that they've occurred. And so basically we just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what we're doing and let you know that the work is still moving forward. I'm going to bring up John Keefe now to talk about some of our stats.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Mr. Knight said, I'm John Keith, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the statistical highlights as well as the program highlights as it pertains to the AVA program. Now, as Mr. Nigel stated, this is an all-encompassing program. So, this is an all-encompassing program. However, it is a truancy-based program, so I want to focus on some of the truancy-based highlights and statistics that go along with it. And unfortunately, you know, when you come across unforeseen circumstances, every one of these are clicks, so I'm going to just point at. So one of the major highlights that we had was the attendance credit retrieval for the winter. Basically what this was, we identified students that had an attendance issue and gave them an opportunity to rectify it over the winter break over a span of 4 days. We ended up having over 260 students average each day coming to this particular event, where we were able to implement some of the PBIS tactics that we use, such as personal social development, tutoring, life skills. We even had some of the students participate in the law and government program. In addition to that, outside of this particular program, we have actually interacted with over 500 students in a formal interaction. So this is not just the coming in saying hi and bye. This is actually students who were either enrolled in the program or students who actually were monitored on a daily basis with the daily progress reports, where we actually check their grades, their attendance, and their behavior and try to keep them back on track. We also have over 340 students participate in the after-school program, and as Mr. Nigel stated, this was a program where we implement a lot of the PBIS-based activities such as tutoring and life skills, 2 hours each day. That's over 5,000 hours that were documented for these young men and women getting these particular skills. So when we look at the performance analysis, a lot of the things that we do with these students, we do based on the enrollment, or the students that were actually enrolled, so the analysis are going to be based on that. When we do the enrollment, though, we do what we call, it's an intake sheet. With that, we ask a series of questions, and with those questions, basically, one of the ones that we ask is, why are you truant? And the top reason that we come across is either waking up or transportation. Now, we get a lot of other ones that go along with it, but those ones are the two main ones. And that's actually, you could see it correlates with some of the statistics that we have when we look at the breakout of unverified absences by period. So as you can see, the first period, unverified period absences, is almost a quarter of all the unverified absences for the day. After that, it drops to about 15 to 16%. You may see it fluctuate, but that's also, it may be some issues that the student may have where they don't like a particular class, such as math or English, so they'll ditch that class to try to avoid the failure. And that's where AVEA kind of comes in. Our goal is to try to help rectify that issue, help them address the issues that they have in the intake, and get them back on the positive track. So when we look at the performance, I'm a little biased because we work with the kids, but I'd say we did a pretty good job. So statistically speaking, this is the AVA's impact on the students that were enrolled. On the left side is the performance of the unverified absences before the students actually were enrolled into the program. And on the right side is the unverified absences during. And in the red is 2016, black is 2017. So in 2016, before the students were actually enrolled into the program, the average unverified absentee rate was 14%. When they got enrolled with us, it dropped to 8%. Last year, the unverified absentee rate before they got enrolled was 28%. When they got enrolled with us, it cut in half. It was down to 14%. Now, we could have gotten it much better. However, we had some situations this year where we had students dealing with things that were extreme circumstances. We had some kids who were literally living out of hotels, students who were dealing with domestic violence issues, and things of that nature. But the beauty about this program is, again, it's a community-based program. We're trying to help implement some of those things. So with those statistics, we're not only able to help the school, but we're able to help the community as well. The impact on the school, you can see, is one of them was the target presence. So basically, the school district, they usually set goals for each school. One of the goals was the target presence, and basically this is saying we want to have the students come to school a certain amount of periods per day. That's going to be the goal, see if we could get that. At the beginning of the year, we're below it about 25 periods. As our caseloads built up, coupled with the partnerships that we have on campus, is basically a team effort. We ended up being about 2,357 period absences above the target presence by the fifth reporting period. We also ended up working on reducing the truancy rate as a whole. So if you notice, in 2013 and 14, that's when AVEA was not on the campus, so we could use that as the baseline year. 2015 to the 2014 and 15 year, we came on campus, and as you can see, there was a reduction in the truancy by 6%. The following year, we streamlined a couple of processes. It was reduced by 11%. Now, when students are truant, usually if they're not in school, they're in the community causing ruckus, and there may be some issues that are going on there. But by us keeping them in school, we were able to help in that aspect, and this is what Mr. DeRico will touch bases on.
So as you can see, we're working currently on the stats for the draw area for AV High School for 16-17, but you can see there's been a significant reduction in targeted crimes that we've focused on here as a community at the direction of this council and the city administration. The most significant one I think that stands out is burglaries, especially as it relates to our daytime burglary rate in the draw area for AV High School, which that's a huge number reduction based in that time period. So, and that goes along with all the work that law enforcement is doing as well as other programs that we're implementing. But if we can just keep kids in school, there's a benefit on both sides. If we can take those resource management savings from that particular area, apply them to other areas within the city. Also for the school, it's for the ADA recovery based on periods. And so if you look and you multiply that out by student absences, it's about what, $36 per person per kid for every 4 period. So if you think about that as a fiscal impact for the district as well. So there's a resource management savings for the city as well as one for a positive effect on the district. I have to say, I mean, what's been really, I love about working here at the city is that we have such a supportive council who's innovative as well as a city administration that allows us to do things. You know, the first development year for this program was really at the city's expense trying to decide what direction we were going to go and put those resources, and it was a test to see what would work and what didn't work. And we're still ongoing with development as how to obtain better skills as it relates to dealing with these issues these students have. Also before us right now in discussions with the AV Union High School School Board as well as Dr. Vieira's expansion of this program throughout the city. So as we're going to be stepping into other schools because the school administrators from other campuses are asking for this program to be on their campuses as well. So it's a great partnership between the city of Lancaster, all the agencies that were identified here, and the high school district as well. It's had a huge positive effect on the school campus itself. And AV High School is a very interesting place. These kids don't want to go home. You know, if you go to this campus now and you see the climate at the campus at 2:30, they have to run these kids off the campus at 4 o'clock. unless they're involved in some club or sport. So that's a tell from where we were many years ago on that campus. So that combined with the turnaround model that the district implemented and a change of faculty and some of the positive and proactive mindset that's occurring there, this is another example of the things that we can do when we work in this intervention proactive model throughout our community. Any questions?
Yes. Mr. Dorigo, could you tell me, how does truancy and GPA correlate? And if so, have you ran the numbers to support the program that you have?
We see a significant impact whenever a kid is truant from class. We're still working on statistical data as far as our AVA kids this year to find out exactly what that GPA impact is. But we generally see a good, from I'll give you an example, like 3.0 average to about a 2.0 to even below that sometimes. So we can sometimes see anywhere up to a 1-point swing just based on kids attending versus not attending class.
And I think the biggest thing is that they've discovered in conversations with these kids, what happens to these kids is when they do get behind in truancy and not attending class, they get so far behind they give up. And that's really what happens. And then we see with the result of that out in our community. So there's a huge focus on identifying those kids that may be a potential issue coming into the high school district now from the feeder schools and making a determination on who we need to impact before they even get here. Okay, and find out what those situations are.
What else can we do for you?
Well, right now I've got a commitment from the school board and Dr. Vieira for some shared resource issues. The city has bared the brunt of this, both just from our budget and public safety as well as through grants. And again, we've seen the significance of implementing this. The district is picking up their apportionment in this now as we develop and move further in this. I think it's going to move into a situation based on the expertise of the folks involved here is how we develop that through the district, because each school's different too as well. Okay, so we need to identify that. For us, it's just keep the support that we have going from the council, allow us to be innovative as a community, try different things and not be afraid of failure. Just learn from it.
Thank you, and thank you to all you guys. Great job. Okay, we're going to receive and file that presentation. No speaker cards on NB3.
Evidently, you're looking for a motion to authorize the staff to submit the application.
I am.
So stated. So I made the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes with 4 yes votes. Okay. Angela, Board of Directors, AVTA.
Just think you're amazing.
It's your name.
It's our name.
No, I see Angela, ladies first.
Get you guys for this one. Actually, I don't have anything to report at this time.
Marvin, you're not going to speak about two things. 2 weeks ago tonight, I thought it was a blessed evening that we went to Palmdale and saw some closeness of working together in the future.
I thought that was very good. We did go to Palmdale, all the council. We were sat separately, so we didn't have a Brown Act violation, but we did have a good cooperation from the majority of the city council in Palmdale. So I thought that was very, very good. We did get 20 years with, is Vern here?
No, I was looking for Vern. He's been.
We have a video on that too later.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
So we had 20 years at the AVA QMD, and we're doing a pilot program testing out the BYD 60-foot programs at the AVTA. So everything's looking good, and we're moving forward. Anybody else? Raj?
I have nothing to report, but I attended last Saturday Valley Oasis. I think that was a great event to be part of, and Angela was there as well. So
They also received the Nonprofit of the Year by Assemblyman Tom Lackey as well, so it was a very great event.
Ken, you have anything?
No, other than we celebrated that 20 years with AQMD board, and I was going to thank Vern. He's not here tonight, but we want to make sure that a lot of people may not be aware that from the inception, Vern was early on, and then I also believe the Board of Trade was quite instrumental in getting the local board established, so we appreciate them for what they were able to do, because today we get to help all the businesses locally, plus keep the air clean. So big benefit, and control our own destiny.
City Manager.
Yes, we have 3 videos, but before that, I know that the council deals with lots of problems in your job as council members, and we deal with a lot of problems, but today it was really good to see AV Partners for Health and the Antelope Valley High School program highlighted, because there's a lot going on good in the community that I think sort of goes unnoticed a little bit, and those are 2 really exceptional programs. So thank you for that leadership. We do have 3 videos. The first one is a short video on our Summer of Sidewalks, and I think it's important to note here when you see it how much actually goes into building a sidewalk that the public may not see.
We're out here at 10th Street West and Kildare, and we're kicking off our Summer of Sidewalks program. Our Revive 25 program is the city's program to treat every street in the city of Lancaster by 2025. And in support of that is our Summer of Sidewalks program, where we're eliminating trip hazards and upgrading our curb ramps to Americans with Disabilities Act compliance. We collect information from citizens. They can go onto our website and log in. They can help identify locations that need work or where they would like to see something happen. We've gotten quite a few comments and positive remarks from citizens with our efforts today.
Number 2 is Councilmember Mann and Vice Mayor Chris talked about is the 20th anniversary of AVA-QMD. What the public may not know is how important AVA-QMD has been to recruiting businesses to this community. It was a big deal for BYD, for Morton Manufacturing, for Kinky Shario, for the aerospace companies over the last 20 years. And I don't think it's a credit it deserves as an economic generator and differentiator.
So 20 years, how did that make you feel?
Well, they said it couldn't be done. We've actually done it, and we've done it more effective and more efficient. We're the lowest in Southern California as far as cost to our citizens. It takes 6 months to get a permit out of South Coast, which is where we came from, and it takes about 2 weeks for this one. So there's a big difference.
A lot of great things said about your staff. You want to talk about your staff?
Oh, I think that's the important part of this organization, is that we have local people working here that know the area, that know the businesses, that know the surroundings, and it just helps us do a better job to support the community.
You want to speak to how important it really is to the local businesses to have a local agency?
Well, case in point, we currently have about $780,000 in funding on an annual basis that is dispersed into the community in relationship to improving air quality by retiring vehicles or equipment. And often at times that's matched with additional monies that come out of the air quality district. So it feels good for us to be able to sit here and literally give hundreds of thousands of dollars away, and at the same time improving the air quality in the Antelope Valley.
We use that funding for the good of the community. We give it back to the farmers. We make sure the food's cheaper. We make sure that our farmers stay in business. We make sure that people are employed.
You want to go over some of the grants you've done through the years?
Sure. The important thing about the Antelope Valley is that we have a lot of commuters that go over the hills, so mobile sources of air pollution are a big thing in our area. So we've touched on replacing common lawnmowers that people use from gasoline to electric. We replace school buses that now run on compressed natural gas and on electric power. Antelope Valley Transit Authority is converting their entire fleet to electric. So all those things that we can do to reduce local emissions are a big part of what we try to accomplish.
What do you think the next 20 years looks like?
I think it looks great.
I think that that's a great organization, but, you know, big thanks to Vern and what Vern did. Vern was one of the original board members, and he took a hiatus for a couple days, but he was back on the job. But one of the best, the most important thing is we're doing the job here and we're doing it locally but cheaper. So it takes 6 months to get a permit out of South Coast, and it'll cost about $12,000 for the same thing. It'll take 2 weeks here, cost about $6,000 for a major project. So I think that's saying a lot about the organization.
The other thing I thought was funny was the length of time and the cost. And we talked about the number of employees that are operating the air quality district. There's 6 versus South Coast, and they're in the, I guess my understanding is in the hundreds. So here you got this crazy number over here that they charge. Of course, they got to, I guess, take care of all the people they got working there. Who knows? And we've got the better air quality. Guess we're doing it better.
Well done. It's a point of pride for the AV. The last one is, it was a sad day but inspirational day. A Saturday ago, we dedicated the monument signs at Sergeant Steve Owen Memorial Park. I want to thank Rhonda and Lee and their staffs for the work they did on that, and council for attending.
Our community treasurer, Sergeant Steve Owen, served 29 years on the Sheriff's Department. He was honored numerous times. If you met Steve just once, friend or foe, you would remember him forever.
He was incredibly enriching to all of us. There was no one who commanded such joy, because there was a love in him even as he went about his job as a police officer. And there was a responsibility he took to protect this community that was demonstrated time after time after time. It was a wonderful life.
I did a ride-along with Steve about, 20 some odd years ago when I worked custody. And I can even remember back then what an amazing guy he was. One contact 20 some odd years ago, and I still remember it. Just amazing. This is really a fitting tribute, because you hear over and over again about what a family man Steve was and how important his family is. And here we are in the park, what a great place it is to remember him, and have young families bringing their kids and seeing these signs and be able to tell the stories. Well, this is why it's named Steve Owen Park.
When you look at the uniform that he wears, the badge that he wears, and there's so much symbolism that stands for so many things that we talk about, but it's more than just talk. It's actual commitment. And nothing signifies that more than the loss of life. There is no greater commitment. I'm thankful for the leaders of the city of Lancaster for acknowledging the great sacrifice in this way to remind us all of the sacrifice that many people make so that we can enjoy what we enjoy.
I really do look forward to, the day my wife and I, and my brother, and our whole family, when we do have kids, that we get to go to Grandpa's Park. And it's just another opportunity to explain who their grandpa was, and how he made us, and how he was such a powerful influence and such a wonderful father. It truly is a blessing that we get to call this Sergeant Steve Owen Memorial Park.
Great job, Rhonda. You guys did a wonderful job out there. Okay, City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council agency and authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chamber, chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
Okay, we always pick on the first speaker, the best, so Trinity Jacobs.
Good evening, Council. My name is Trinity Jacobs, and I'm here from my political science class at AVC. My teacher is Amaka Don. And I have a question for Vice Mayor Christ. I would like to know, what are your thoughts regarding President Trump pulling out of the Paris Agreement, and do you think it was a responsible decision?
I was gonna say I like her style. It must come from her mother.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters to those people that are truly committed to helping the environment. It won't matter to the city of Lancaster because we're already pot committed, so to speak. We're going to change the future for our kids and how we look at it. I think what Trump did was send a political message to the rest of the world that they should get on board, because the Paris Agreement actually does nothing unless the world is on board. So it's just not one individual, just not us pulling out of it, but he's sending a political message to the world, and he's saying that it can't stop if other countries don't sign on to it. So the entire world has to get behind it. But from the political side of the city of Lancaster, you have to look and see what we're doing. We have the first electric bus fleet in the world. We took over our street lights and we're changing them to LEDs. We're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing that. We trade in at the AVA QMD, the lawnmowers. We do everything that we can to improve the environment. And when you can improve the environment and do it economically, I think that's the best thing to do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ta-da. Alicia Rodriguez.
For those of you, I'm going to be her translator, so is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Sí. Gracias y buenas tardes a todos por darnos la oportunidad de expresar. Hello and thank you to everybody for listening to me and giving me the time to talk. Voy a decir en rápido el problema de nuestra familia. I'm going to tell you a brief description of what's going on in our family, the problems going on. Vivimos casi 2 años en Lancaster Estate Mobile Homes. We have been living here for 2 years in a mobile home park here in Lancaster. El primer año fue muy bonito. The first year was pretty nice. La manager, entramos con los documentos que requeridos, aceptados por el parque y por ella. Okay. We came here with the right documents and everything that was required and whatnot, and the first year with the manager, we were great and all.
Se cambió de manager.
But then managers changed and so did everything else.
Desgraciadamente no pasó lo mismo con ella.
Sadly, the same thing didn't happen to her.
Nuestra casa la estamos pagando, fue ripo por el parque.
Our house that we got it to mobile home, it was repossessed and we got it.
Por los dueños anteriores.
But we bought it off the owners of the park.
Nos lo vendió la oficina del parque.
They sold it to us.
Ahorita nos están desalojando.
And right now they're trying to take away our home. No hemos tenido el derecho de que nos den una corte.
Right now, we haven't had the right to have a court date.
Tenemos muchas pruebas a nuestro favor de todas las...
We have a lot of proofs in our favor to show that this is our home and we're here to stay.
Que los managers no han actuado conforme a la ley.
And that the managers have not been acting rightfully with the law and all.
Pedimos justicia.
And we're asking for justice to be done.
Somos una familia trabajadora.
We're a huge family that's really hardworking.
Pasible.
We're really easy to handle.
Mi esposo está enfermo a causa de tantos problemas.
My husband, he's sick from so many health problems.
Tiene un historial de stroke.
He has a history of strokes.
A ellos no les ha importado nuestra situación.
They don't care about his situation.
Solo piensan quitarnos la casa y volverlas a vender.
All they care about is taking our home away and just keeping us out.
Estamos peleando limpiamente.
We're fighting for a home the right way.
Pero en ese parque hay muchas amenazas.
But in this park, there's a lot of threats of being made to everyone, not just us.
Racismo.
Racism.
Es por lo cual nadie se acerca a hablar.
Which is why no one will fight for anything there and everyone keeps quiet.
Pedimos por favor se investigara, se buscaran ayuda para nosotros y otras familias que están en nuestra situación.
And I'm asking for something to be done, like a type of investigation or something for not just my family, but for other families too.
Mi casa nunca pasó inspección, ni siquiera fue el inspector.
My house was never even had inspection done, and it still hasn't had since I moved in.
Tiene muchas cosas que arreglarse.
There was a lot of flaws in my house.
Algunas las arreglamos por nuestra cuenta.
And that many we had to fix on our own.
No hubo crédito.
There was no credit being done.
Ellos solo quieren quitarnos nuestra casa y sacarnos.
And the managers there, they just want to take our home and just kick us out.
Tenemos niños menores de edad.
We have children that are minors.
Como lo dije anterior, solo trabajo yo.
Like I said before, I'm the only one who works.
Y se me hace injusto que no quieran llegar a un acuerdo.
And I find it very sad that there's nothing being done to help me save my home and all.
Esperamos llegar a una corte y que el juez decida lo.
And I hope to have a court date soon to fix this all and have justice being done.
Pero sí nos gustaría que ustedes también tomaran.
But I would sincerely love it if there would be some action done from you all to help me.
Y que no siga pasando esto en este parque.
And that for this to stop, the corruption in the park stop happening to not just me, to everyone else.
Por favor.
Please and thank you.
Y gracias por su tiempo.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is this the same mobile home park we always have problems with?
This is one of the mobile home parks that you've had heard about consistently. I was in contact with both the owner of the park today as well as the park's attorney and alerted them to the issues to make sure that they were getting past the manager and to the owner, and they are working to take on those issues.
So have you discussed with them in regards to the amount of problems that we're having?
Yes.
And what are they saying?
They're looking into it.
What are our options?
Very limited. We have very little jurisdiction within a mobile home park. We are not the enforcing agency.
Well, if what she's saying is true, we should have some jurisdiction if they're being racist and, some of those other problems.
Many of the problems of which I am aware, some of the things here I don't have enough details to be able to respond to, but the items that have been brought to my attention previously were law enforcement related criminal matters and civil actions as between the tenant and the landlord. The city does not have jurisdiction over those issues, and frankly, it's HUD that has that, and the state that has jurisdiction over those issues. That said, we have and will continue to assist the tenants to find legal aid type assistance to make sure that their rights are being defended and that they are being properly treated.
Make sure you find some way to help these people.
We'll do everything I can.
Okay. Juan Rodriguez.
Okay, I'm back again, and I'm going to translate for him too.
Dile que nosotros, donde vivimos, a mis hijos ya no nos dejan entrar a la alberca. Dile.
Okay, hello. His name is Juan, as you all know. He wants to talk about how he feels that he's being not, I guess you would say, left out, like we are being, in a way, left out from the park. You know how they have certain things you can go to, like the pool, the clubhouse, and whatnot in the mobile home park. He's saying that he has sons, which are my little brothers. That we're not allowed in certain places there because the manager won't let them there. So like if they want to go to the pool, they're not allowed in because she won't let them in. And that he wants to know why is she allowed to have this?
Are they not allowed in because of what reason?
Because they've been trying to, like Alicia Rodriguez was talking about, since she's trying to take our home, she won't let us in. She won't let us have any part of what's going on in the park and whatnot because she's trying to take us out.
Y como a las personas que también los quieren sacar, los asustaron y les mandaron que les quebraran los vidrios.
And he's also saying that there was a recent incident where some of the people who she's threatened, their house have been vandalized by windows being broken with rocks of some kind. And some of them have been too afraid to come, but he wants to speak for them because there's a lot of threats being made towards them and they don't want anything going on worse to where they live.
Dile que nosotros vivimos en el valle, pero ya tenemos 2 años aquí, vivimos a gusto, pero con esa mana y con la gente que están adentro, están haciendo muchos problemas.
Okay, a little bit slower. Okay, back then we lived in the valley 2 years ago. We were really happy, I guess, when we moved here. But then after this manager set foot in, everything completely changed and everything turned to black and nothing was good at all.
¿Y qué hace la mayoría de gente que compraron la casa en el parque? Lo quieren sacar porque las quieren vender.
He's saying that there's many people who in the park who are getting evicted by her because she wants to sell their homes because that's in the rules where she can sell their homes if they're evicted out for some kind of reason, and she can sell their homes if they're evicted out.
Y mucha gente la sacan y todos están yendo. ¿Por qué? Por los tantos problemas que está haciendo.
And many people are leaving the park due to all the complaints and problems that are happening down in the park. They just can't handle it.
Y dile que muchas veces cuando yo me enfermé es porque ella me mandaba al security cada rato.
And there have been a lot of harassment cases in our home where she would send security for the littlest reasons, and there's another story to that, which is why he's in this condition.
Dile, pero nosotros no hay nadie que nos ayude y nosotros
And
si nos sacan nos vamos a vivir en la calle. Dile.
He feels helpless that nothing's being done to defamation and harassment that he's having in this park where he lives, where it's supposed to be a happy home, not a house of hell.
Mis hijos también tienen miedo y cuando miran a ella tienen miedo que nos va a sacar.
I have kids. I have 2 little ones who are in elementary who they're very young, and whenever they see her, they run inside because they feel that she's going to take her home if we get outside, and they can't be outside at all because they're so afraid of her.
Y a la mayoría le están diciendo que va a mandar a mí para sacarnos a nosotros. Dile.
Many of the people who live in this park are Hispanic, and she has threatened them, including us because we are Hispanic, with immigration, saying that if you don't do this, I'm going to call immigration on you. And we have it recorded. We have proof. We have it recorded that she would call immigration on us.
Yeah, nosotros, dile, nunca venimos a hacer problemas. Estamos viviendo a gusto.
We have been living in peace before, but some reason after she came, we have been having so many problems, and we just want something to be done.
Tanto como con la gente que tiene la manager, siempre dicen muchos problemas y los hacen a todos.
And there's people in this park who are on her side that cause even more problems where they say this and that, where it's he said, she said, and causes problems for the rest of us, where they spread rumors and it affects everyone.
Y ella cuando le mandaron los vidrios, dijo que yo los quebré y les estaba diciendo a toda la gente.
She, the manager at this mobile park where I live, she has defeminized my name where some of the residents whose windows were broken, she told many of the residents there that I supposedly broke them because she's trying to evict me out of my home.
Y nosotros pues ahorita yo no estoy trabajando, nomás mi esposa está trabajando y se nos hace trabajo pagar lo que estamos pagando.
Right now, I am not working. My wife is the one working due to my condition, and it hurts the fact that I have to do more work and having to do everything while I'm like this when everything's already hard enough already, and the fact that we have to be battling this too.
Deberán de mandar a alguien para que chequee cada persona, para que miren el complaint que pone. Todos tienen miedo, pero quieren hacer algo que pasa.
Okay. There's a lot of people who have complaints too, and if you literally ask people who live there, they would tell you the complaints they have, but they won't tell you face to face. They would tell you anonymously, just not here, where it's public.
Que ese es el que hace tus programas, esa persona.
Yes, and we have someone that specifically causes problems for us.
Say that last part again.
We know someone who specifically causes problems because they have connections with the management.
Okay, I think we understand the problem. Did you get enough?
Yeah, I'd like those recordings, please.
Just for those people at home that are wondering, if we have a translator, we do give them 6 minutes.
Yes, by law, they're entitled to double the time if
Twice
there's a
the time.
translator.
Okay. Phil Mayer?
City Council, my name is Philip Mayer. I live at the Lancaster Estates, the mobile home park that the gentleman and lady were just talking about. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. I feel sorry for the Rodriguezes and what they're going through. But I'm here after listening to their testimony to state to you, there's more that's going on in this park than meets the eye. Last time I appeared in front of you was several years ago when Artie Rodeo was a mayor. And I was trying to get the Buck and Wilson people out of the valley. So it's been a long time. But we have a lot of problems in the park, some good, some bad. I've met with your city attorney before on issues as an individual of what's going on at the present time. I personally have harassment suits filed against me, which I have copies of, relating to my responsibilities in the park of getting people to clean up their property. It looks like a ghetto, and they're coming down on me as an individual. The people that had their windows busted out, I feel very sorry for them. I would not have tolerated as a board member and the president of the Home Association for the past 5 years. These people behind us have a serious problem. Other people in the park have serious problems that should be investigated and gone through the proper legal actions. I don't totally believe that the managers in the park are doing everything totally wrong. I'm far from being prejudiced. I adopted a little Spanish girl when she was 3 days old. And I stand before you as a person that is not prejudiced. There are some that are prejudiced in Lancaster. That's unfortunate. But with the Starkey family who have their windows busted out, suing me for harassment, which I haven't spoke to them in 2 years because I asked them to clean up their yards. I have pictures to show how dirty and filthy the yards are with paint all over the driveways. And I go in there as a volunteer to help clean it up, and the police come. It's a lot of problems. I would hope to possibly meet sometime with the district attorney to show him some of the facts in order to put your mind at ease that Lancaster Estates Park is one of the better parks in this community. And they only do what they have to do to keep their jobs and follow the rules and regulations of the park. My time's up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Shannon.
Good evening, City Council, council members, Vice Mayor. I have 3 minutes to speak on 2 topics, so let me just say this briefly. Short too. I had the pleasure of meeting the mayor of Compton not that long ago. I've been wanting to meet her for a while now, and she's a very young, vibrant woman, and I was extremely impressed. And I just wanted to let you guys know that she's a great woman. And she's very, very young, actually. Okay, I just wanted to put that out there. I came up here to talk also about this. I've been watching, and I'm pretty disturbed by the things I've been seeing on the TV lately, on Facebook and things. And because I did my thesis on bullying and its relationship to school-age suicides, it affects me a little bit deeper than most. The reason why it touches my heart so much is because there is a difference between upstanders and bystanders. And all I've been seeing is bystanders. And I've been saying for some years now, since I've had my master's in public policy since 2013. So I did my thesis probably within that year. So it's been a while since I've had it. And I've always said that there should be some legislation against those who, like, I look at it like this. If you see a crime happening and you don't want to do anything, walk away. But if you want to videotape it and post it on Facebook and post it everywhere, and millions of people have seen it before Eyewitness News and Channel 5 get to see it, and then the law enforcement get it, I have a problem with that. And I feel like there should be some consequences. Now, there are Good Samaritan laws, and this is why I'm bringing this up, because of the thing. Some people are scared to come forward. Good Samaritan laws, according to Ebony Morris, I just got this off Google while I was sitting there. Good Samaritan laws generally provide basic legal protection for those who assist a person who is injured or in danger. In essence, these laws protect the Good Samaritan from liability if unintended consequences result from their assistance. Again, if you have 10 people or more videotaping the same incident, no one's asking you to jump in and be Captain Save a person. All I'm saying is that if you do, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I fear this stuff happening closer to home than I'd like it to happen. And this is something I actually am going to bring up to the Lancaster School District as well, because I have children, I have 4 of my children in the Lancaster School District. And to think that, and I also watched a 10-year-old little boy who was actually crying and getting beat up, kicked, plummeted by 12, 13-year-old kids, and he was begging for them to stop, and they videotaped and thought it was funny. I watched 5 teenage boys watch a mentally disabled man drown this weekend, saying that he was going to die, we're not going to do anything to help you. But yet and still, millions of people on Facebook got to see that, and there's no consequences. Now, I know I have to go higher up for this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention that this is something that's very dear and near to my heart, and I'm not going to, me, myself, I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to stand by and watch any of these things happen to any of our citizens. And like I said, I consider this my city, and I don't want any of these things to happen, and it seems like it's happening more and more often. And I just wanted to let you guys know that's how I feel about that. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shannon. Eric Vasquez.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and Council. I wanted to bring your attention a problem we're having in the east side. I live on J8 and 20th Street East in the Cedar Ridge Apartments, and we have a transient camping out in the corner field. And it's not just them, we have 2 camps of homeless people, and we're getting vandalized. They're robbing, breaking into cars. We all have balconies in our apartments. They're robbing us from stuff. And just last Saturday night at 9:30, they caused a fire, and I want to commend the fire department for putting it out. But I don't know if you're aware, on the east side on 20th Street East and Lancaster Boulevard, in those cement tubes. A year ago, it was only 2 people. We got a whole camp of 20 of them now. And they're vandalizing and they're terrorizing. I like shopping at Stater Brothers. I mean, these people get aggressive. If you don't give them money, I came out and I found my car scratched. And I tell them no, because I don't give them money. And I want to know what can be done about this. Because this is a serious problem we're having. And I know the manager of my complex has spoken with the safety, the public safety officer here in the city when I spoke to him myself. And he said, resources are limited, but I want to know what can be done about this.
Lee, can we help him?
Yeah, we'll absolutely help him. I don't know who you spoke to, sir, in my office, but we'll address it. Okay, we've already had.
They were really nice.
We've already had the conversation regarding those concrete type, and it was actually, those have been sitting there for some time. And we have already are looking at addressing that based on who owns the property. Okay, so there's certain steps we have to do in the difference between folks in the public purview versus the private property purview, but I'll address it, sir.
You know, because it's the Walmart and the Stater Brothers Shopping Center. I mean, there's
We
new
understand the
construction
problem.
going on, and I commend Lancaster for building. We're going to get enough Pollo Loco and a new market, and all that will go down in a minute if we don't do something about this.
I agree.
And the second issue I want to bring out, and this is something I witnessed, my friend's son asked me to give him a ride to the corner of Division and J at the Arco station. And I witnessed them selling alcohol to him, and he's only 18. Now, I left a message with Deputy Lance Jordan and addressed this matter. And I went in and confronted the clerk, and all of a sudden, she don't speak English. I don't think they should be selling, liquor to minors. Something should be done about that. At that Arco station. I just want to bring that to your attention.
He's writing it down as we speak.
Okay, well, thank you. And that's all I want to address.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to our
I try to get direct to
attention.
the point. Thank you all.
Okay. I think I have the three amigos.
Hi, my name is Rachel Berry.
My name is Zachary Gunner.
Good afternoon. My name is Chahira Mendoza. Okay, the reason why we had addressed you guys together is because we're in a class together. I've never been to a meeting before, so I didn't really know what to ask, but he actually has a question.
Good evening, Chair. I wanted to ask, how are you going to ensure the safety of the citizens of Lancaster if Senate Bill 54 passes, essentially making our entire state a sanctuary state, which prevents authorities from working with immigration enforcement, even if an undocumented immigrant has committed a felony crime?
Is it to me or to all of us?
To the entire chair, yes, sir.
I think our number one goal is public safety. So we'll do what we can with the resources that we have. We can't control what goes on up at the state level. We can influence it. We do try to influence the state lawmakers up there, but the best thing that I could tell you is to vote. You can see the problems that it does cause. AB 109, Proposition 47, 57, they've all caused extreme crime problems in the Antelope Valley. They will continue to do so, and we just have to make adjustments with our plans and to continue forward and to protect the people.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just want to say to you, thank you so much for your time and letting us come up here. It was really enjoyable, and I learned a lot. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you. Fran.
Good evening again. I just want to say thank you for all your help. I couldn't do what I do without your assistance and backing me up in things that I have confronted you with, and you've helped me do what I have to do. This last thing with the AV Fairgrounds, as far as the seniors or access system dropping us off and picking us up on the outer perimeter of the fairground. Now they're going to be picking us up on the inside. Yes. And I just got note this morning at the AVTA meeting that we're going to get a sign put up to let everybody know that there's where we're going to be picked up and dropped off. And I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friend, and thank you for doing it in a positive manner. We can help you, and it helps us when you tell us what the problems are in a positive manner, and it makes us go out there and to do what we can do. So it's part of your delivery that we appreciate. So thank you very much for what you do.
God bless you all.
Friend,
Yes.
you have been one of the most wonderful advocates for our seniors, and I have to say that you have worn the crown well, and thank you for being such a great advocate.
Thank
Greatly
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And I haven't finished. I'm still going forward.
David Paul.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice Mayor, Council, and visiting commissioners, guest commissioners, I guess I should say, I love coming to these meetings. There's so much tonight that inspired me. Michelle, thank you. And Patty, your presentation, thank you, Vice Mayor. That's what I was thinking when I was sitting there. What a smooth presenter she is. It's so well done. And all the other things that happen, I'm always impressed. I wanted to tell you tonight a little bit about our local hospital, because I talked last week about my concerns about finding out what's going on at the library, and I guess I understand that. Thank you for the clarification, the bigger sense of things. We have to know what's going on. And that's a critical thing, but our hospital is, to me, way more critical, and we're on the verge of losing it all, having the hospital converted to a county hospital, and the ramifications of that I don't even want to consider. So I just want everybody to know that it'll be community members that make a difference, because there is no organized attempt. It's just the coming together of people they have to change their way of governance to instill support in the community. A lot of people don't think that the hospital is run well. It hasn't been. I used to work there, and there are problems with leadership, and it's not about the employees. They're great. The doctors are great. It's just about the way it's governed. So there'll be a measure on the ballot in October or November for a change of governance, and then next year they'll be trying to fund the hospital to build a new hospital. And we need to get behind the ability to get the governance change through and build our hospital, because we really, really need that. But that's something to look forward to. On the other hand, next weekend, when is it? The National Night Out. And I proudly show this. This is the first cap of the first National Night Out, and it was held on my birthday, so I always imagine it's to celebrate my birthday. And this year, it's going to be August 3rd, the day before my birthday, but I want everybody to know that, to come out, to feel the love in this city, of the community getting together to celebrate what we do. And it'll be a great night. I'll be there. I wonder if we can get a power washer over there by the Bank of America, because the sidewalk there just really looks bad, but it's a real simple little thing, and I don't want that to detract from all the joy that's going to go on. So thank you. Thank you very much. And
Well done. Well done.
See you on National Night Out.
Did you see him write that down, Dave? Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Vos.
Yes, sir. No, I'm not going to run the power washer, no.
Okay.
But I'll stand by and watch.
Okay.
I don't recall if I mentioned last time, but we had a conditional use permit application for our first medical cannabis cultivation facility, which was approved at the last Planning Commission meeting. And our next Planning Commission meeting on August 14th will have 3 medical cannabis cultivation applications to consider. One for a 570,000 square foot facility, and 2 others totaling 278,000 square feet of medical cannabis grow facility. We look forward to those public hearings.
Good. Good job. Jen, do you have anything from criminal justice?
No, sir. I don't have anything to report.
Okay. No report. Raj?
No, nothing to report.
Angela? Ken? Okay. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.